So I've done quite a few videos for Outriders since they released the new Horizon update, and I even done one Is It Worth Playing? But this time round, it's been a little while since the update come out. I want to go through, did it save the game? Has it made the game any better? And I'm going to give you the straight up answer, not really. The game is a lot smoother, it's a much more enjoyable experience. However, the matchmaking doesn't work properly, so a lot of the time you'll be stuck playing solo. I've seen the comments of people looking for a match for about 10 minutes, they finally get one, and it comes up party joining failure. I myself have experienced waiting up to like 5 minutes, and this is when the game picked up traction again because of the release of the update. I sat there for about 5 minutes looking for a game, couldn't find one, reset it, looked a few times, 3 or 4 minutes each time or something like that, and just couldn't find matches. And then, when I was lucky enough to get into a match, I had a yellow or a red bar connection. And then what happens a couple of days after that? The connection seems to be fairly smooth. And then the following day it goes back to being dreadful. So in terms of the matchmaking, the online connection, I know a lot of it is down to the players because it's run on a P2P network. But yes, it's currently in a really, really bad state, and that's across all platforms. It's not going to affect absolutely everyone, so some of you could have a really, really good connection, but it has an effect on some players, and that is what matters. The game has had its biggest discounts since launch, and I think that's brought a lot of new players in. I don't necessarily think it was the new Horizon update. When they were reaching their peak, and I'll put an image of this on screen, they reached maybe 10,000 players. On Saturday, November 27th, as you'll see on the screenshot, 9 PM my time, which is the UK time, they had a concurrent count of 9,000 players. And then if you have a look, the 24-hour peak is 6,000. So from the release of New Horizon, the game has lost around 33% of its players already. If we're going to say the cap is that November 27th, 9,000, then dropping down to 6, that's a 33% reduction in the amount of players. So it's already dipping back down, and it's doing it fairly quick. The update hasn't been out for too long. The reason I believe a lot of players are leaving again is because all they really did that was significant, substantial, anything that was going to make the player base happy was removing the timers from the expeditions, which was a fantastic change. That's across all expeditions in the game. Not a single one has a timer now. You are free to run it however you fancy, whatever build you want to run. Alongside that, they did add in 4 brand new expeditions. They all had secret rooms, and there was a secret boss in one of them, and that was a lot of fun. Big open areas, no timer, just chill, relax, and play, look at the new scenery, all that sort of stuff. New things coming into the game. The problem with the expeditions, in my personal opinion, is the lack of, unique bosses. We got the spider boss from the mountain in the story. I've always asked for that one. We don't have anything anywhere near as big as the chrysaloid from the story, or anything like that. And then we just got a different variant, a different colour of the crawler, elite enemies you get in some of the original, base expeditions. And then I think there was a brood mother that come out of one of them with 2 crawlers, one either side. So the bosses were very underwhelming. But other than the 4 new expeditions, the removal of the timer for the expeditions, the only other thing that come into the game that was significant to have a positive effect on the player experience was the re-rolling of Tiago's legendary store. So the elite offer with the legendaries that Tiago sells, you can now either buy a random legendary, just go for chance, or you can re-roll his entire stock. But besides that, that's all that really come into the game. There's fixes and things like that, and the core gameplay itself is really, really good now. It's in a much more stable condition, but now all players have left is running the expeditions, getting gear they're missing, trying out new builds, and besides that is waiting until next year for the Worldslayer expansion. I'm hoping the expansion brings a good amount of new content into the game. Maybe a new game mode or something like that, some new expeditions, some new tiers, new weapons, new gear, all that sort of stuff, because it's a full-on expansion. I expect them to charge for it. I don't expect that to be free. New Horizon was a free update. But in terms of has New Horizon actually saved Outriders, I believe it has. And I'm going to say it has because I thoroughly enjoyed all 4 of the expeditions they added in, even though the bosses were lacking. They were cool to run big, wide open areas, which gives you a lot of use for your skills and stuff. And even though there were only a few features, this was an update, this wasn't a full-on expansion. I actually appreciate that we got anything new at all, in terms of like the expeditions, the removal of the timer. I appreciate the work they put into this, and the fact there was a free update. So I'm going to say yes, I believe it saved the game, but when I say it saved the game, what I mean is, it's going to pick up players with a sale, with new stuff to do in the game. Then players are going to drop off very quickly. But what the developers have done is put this game into a solid state so that all they have to do is work on this expansion and make sure all the features are polished, then release that, and that's when the game will like pick up its biggest traction again within the community. But I believe they have readied this game for a full-on expansion DLC type thing that they want to release. So right now, the game might not be worth playing if you've run the 4 new expeditions, if you've got all the new Ruiner gear. Like, I say Ruiner gear, I think there's a weapon for each of the like weapon classes, so SMG, AR, so on and so forth. I believe there's one of those, they're purple rarity, and you get them from the secret rooms within the new expeditions. So right now, you have the Ruiners, the expeditions, the new ones, the removal of the timer, and the legendary restock with Tiago, which isn't going to be a lot for some players. You're going to have the 4 new expeditions done within, I don't know, say an hour, 2 hours, or something like that, depending on the pace you want to take within those expeditions. And then besides that, there is nothing else. So right at the moment, I would say if you haven't played for a long time, jump back into it, give it a go, you might enjoy it, even if it is only for a short period of time. But besides a couple of issues here and there, the game is in a really good state. So besides matchmaking, as the biggest example, the game is in a really good state. So I believe they've got the game, the foundation of it, they've got it all ready for the expansion when it comes out next year. And as long as they keep all that stuff polished and it's stable, all that sort of stuff, there's new content that's going to interest players, I think the game could pick up again when Worldslayer does drop. However, the only question is, will it last long? Will the expansion get boring after a week or two? Will the players drop off again? Will they release it bugged? There are so many questions, but right now, I believe they have saved this game. They've got it ready for the expansion, and it does feel quite good to play it at the minute. But what we're going to do is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.